It's Wednesday, and you're listening to Warlock Wednesday on Ehnotherpodcast.com.
And good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. It is Wednesday, and that means it's another Warlock Hour with Razor. Again, just for your information, I do record this on Monday nights, so it's not Wednesday for me, but it is Wednesday for you. I'd like to welcome you to this week's edition of basically the award show. We've got a lot of things I want to cover before I get to the awards, and a little bit after the awards I'm going to get back to the sports. I always do the sports at the end because I know not as many listeners want the sports, but it's something that interests me. So I'm going to kick things off, as we always do, with the comic book releases for this week. And from DC, we have Arrow number 4, Flash number 17, and Teen Titans number 17. Overall, this week's comic book releases are kind of low. There's not a lot. So those are the only 3 that would pique my interest as far as DC is concerned. So no 5 from DC this week, just 3. There are others, I'm sure, that would like more, but those are the only 3 that stood out to me, and none of these 3 do I actually personally purchase. But again, those are the ones that stick out to me when I'm thinking of other people and the top comics that people would like to hear about. From Marvel this week, Gambit number 9, Hawkeye number 8, Uncanny Avengers number 4, Uncanny X-Men number 2, and Young Avengers number 2. These are all part of the Marvel Now campaign that recently started as early as last November, and a little bit of a stutter there, but I was just trying to think of the month in my head of when it started. And I'm liking most of these titles that I have read. I didn't like Gambit. I picked up the first, I think it was 6 issues, and I pretty much stopped after that. I finished the storyline that was going on at the time, but I didn't really like Gambit that much as far as the writing and the artistry is concerned. Not that it was horrible, it just didn't interest me. Hawkeye I am enjoying very much. That's why I'm continuing that one. Uncanny Avengers, I'm enjoying that one. I haven't picked up Uncanny X-Men. I've heard it's decent, but I don't know if I'll be picking it up. I gotta watch how many comics I get. And Young Avengers, I'm still waiting on my back order for Young Avengers number 1, so hopefully I can get that and number 2 this week when I visit my local comic book store. From the independents, from Dynamite Entertainment, we have Army of Darkness number 11, and from IDW Publishing, a couple of Doctor Who titles, Doctor Who number 6, Doctor Who Prisoners of Time number 2, and that's part of a 12-part series, and also from IDW Publishing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret History of the Foot Clan number 3, and that's a 4-part miniseries that's going on, so you can get number 3. So that's it for your comic book releases for this week. I hope you guys that are reading comics enjoy them. I know there's been a lot of changes in the last year and a half between DC rebooting their entire universe, which was just dumb and stupid in my opinion, but they're still going strong, as strong as they could get, I guess. I mean, last year the numbers were pretty decent. They had 30% of the market share, so that's pretty decent. Marvel, with their Marvel Now campaign, while it's not a complete reboot of the universe, it is a reboot of some titles, reimaginings of some characters, reassigning some artists and some writers, and I think that's kind of worked better so that they're not erasing years of history like DC has. DC erased basically everything that existed before the New 52. At least as far as they're concerned. As far as true comic books fans are concerned, it's still there. So those are your comic book releases. So we're going to get to the movies, and I'm going to do this a little bit different. I want to do the new releases first, and then we'll get to the numbers from last week. So the new releases coming out this Friday, that being March the 1st, are 21 and over. Teen comedy about a kid who's turning 21, and in the US that is the legal drinking age. Obviously here in Canada we've been getting drunk for about 2 years before them, so well, not necessarily, but we're allowed to drink 2 years before them. So 21 and over is kind of basically a coming of age, I guess, story as far as being able to drink in the US. Also coming out this week, Jack and the let's see if I can get this right. Jack the Giant Slayer, there we go, and that's also available in 2D and 3D in some theaters. And this is a movie that stars the kid Nicholas Hoult, I think is pronounced, who played Beast in the X-Men movie and will be playing Beast again in X-Men Days of Future Past next year. And also this week, The Last Exorcism Part 2. Not all theaters will get this. I'm not even sure my theater is going to get this. It's not listed as a limited release, but it sounds like it could be a limited release. So those are your 3 new releases coming out this week. And we're going to move into the box office from last weekend. Now, last week when I was on the program, the number 1 movie was A Good Day to Die Hard. It dropped hard. It dropped 60%. So it is not number 1. So moving back into the number 1 spot, or as the tagline says, Identity Thief steals back top spot. So yes, Identity Thief is back to number 1, making $14 million this past weekend. Snitch, which was the new movie starring Dwayne Johnson, it raked in $13.1 million, so pretty darn close to capturing the number 1 spot. I think because the target audience is more male-dominated, whereas Identity Thief could be both, I think that's where you get the discrepancy there. So 13.1 was good enough for number 2. Number 3 this week was Escape from Planet Earth. That made $10.6 million. Safe Haven came in at number 4 with $10.4 million, and it dropped from number 3 just a little bit, mostly because when it opened Valentine's Day weekend, so obviously it was going to have a strong opening, and I think we'll start seeing it dropping some more as the weeks go by. Good Day to Die Hard dropped all the way to number 5 with $10.1 million. Like I said, almost a 60% drop in sales. I don't think this is any indication on the movie itself, because the movie was quite good. It already made $51 million in the 2 weeks that it's been out. Another new movie debuting this week was Dark Skies. It comes in at number 6 with $8.1 million. Personally speaking, anytime I see on a poster from the producers or the creators or the writers or anything that has to do with Paranormal Activity, I will not see it. You want me to see something that you've done differently? Don't put that on your poster, because you know what? I'm not watching it. Paranormal Activity was a fucking stupid movie. It pisses me off to no end that movie was even made, and that they keep making more. You people who are going to see these movies, you're ruining it for the rest of us who actually want to see good movies. Coming in at number 7 is Silver Linings Playbook with $5.7 million, and as we'll find out later, it did decent at the Oscars, although it probably could have won more, but it won one of the awards that I was really happy about, and again, we'll get into that a little later. Coming in at number 8 was Warm Bodies, another movie that I think is just beyond stupid and beyond watchable, and it made another $4.8 million. Number 9, Beautiful Creatures, 3.6, and rounding out the top 10, $3.3 million with Side Effects. So that's your top 10. As I said last week, I guaranteed that by this week, The Hobbit will crack the $300 million mark, and I was right. It is sitting at $300,950,000. So it cracked the $300 million mark, and that is definitely something that I expected to happen. Probably expected it a little sooner, but it definitely made it, and I'm glad it did. Alright, other entertainment news. Something that bothers me is that Michael Bay is making a Ninja Turtles movie. He's not calling it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because he's not making them mutants. As far as what was leaked and rumored and found out in the last few months is that Michael Bay is making the Ninja Turtles aliens. Well, that right there says, fuck you, Michael Bay. You can't change the origins. The whole point of them being Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is that they are part of Earth. They were of Earth. They grew up learning our ways. That's why they like pizza. That's why they do the things they do. That's why they talk the way they talk. They're not aliens, dumbass. Now, to make matters worse, Megan Fox is coming in to play April O'Neil. Don't get me wrong. She's a beautiful woman. She's an okay actress. She is not April O'Neil, and she doesn't belong in this movie. And they are not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The whole point of this is that basically I'm not going to see this movie. Michael Bay is not directing it; he is producing it. It is being directed by a guy named Jonathan Liebsman. And the screenplay is by Josh Applebaum, who should be shot, Andrew Nemec, who should be shot, Art Markham, who should be shot, Matt Holloway, who should be shot, and John Fusco, who should be shot. All those writers should be shot for turning them into aliens. The movie is going to be called Ninja Turtles, not TMNT or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or anything like that. Fans have outcry. There's been an outcry by fans who are really pissed off about this. The sad thing is, it probably will make money. Michael Bay films tend to do fairly well, and again, it makes me sad that stupid people are out there believing this to be a good story when any fan knows that this is not a good story. See, unlike Justice League, where they're going to bring in the fans no matter how bad the movie is, and the movie is going to be bad, like I'm predicting Doom on the Justice League movie as it stands right now. Like, if things change, my prediction could change, but as things stand right now, I'm predicting very much Doom on the Justice League movie. However, the fans will go see it, because the fans want to see a Justice League movie, so you're going to get the fans. What you're not going to get is the extras. This movie is completely reversed. They're not going to get any of the fans, they're going to get people who want to see an Alien movie and a Michael Bay film. They're going to get those people, but they're not going to get Ninja Turtle fans, and then that's where they're going to lose money. This movie is going to flop, in my opinion, as far as the fans are concerned, and anybody who goes to see this movie, like the writers, should be shot. Because you or slapped at least. I mean, come on, like pile drive them into a ring or something. Something has to be done, because these people that are going to see this movie definitely don't deserve to be seeing the same movies that I'm seeing. Okay, so moving on to more entertainment news. I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I mentioned Jason Momoa, who played in Game of Thrones as Khal Drogo, was offered the role of Drax the Destroyer in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He was offered the role, he's turned it down. Jason Momoa will not be in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's turned the role down. He's not signing a contract. One of the things that I read this week about this was a tweet that was sent out, and it says, Marvel is back to screen testing actors for Drax. Somebody needs to remind Momoa that nobody saw his last two films and should take Marvel's offer. Momoa's last two films were Conan the Barbarian, which did very poorly in the box office. Barely anybody went seen it. I haven't seen it, so I can't hypothesize on the movie, but judging by the numbers, and that's what studios look at, it didn't do very well at all. Bullet to the Head was the other one. And again, it was Stallone's worst opening. It was not very good as far as monetarily going. Again, I have not seen the movie. I can't hypothesize on the plot or anything like that. But nobody's going to see these movies. He needs the money or something, because he needs to be in a movie that people are going to actually go watch. And while Guardians of the Galaxy is not a very popular comic book movie to be thinking about, the fact that Marvel's doing it is definitely important and powerful, and definitely going to be something that should be looked into. However, now the other actors who auditioned for the role before were Isaiah Mustafa, who many people know as the Old Spice guy, former WWE superstar Dave Bautista, and I say no to that. He cannot play this. We have to cast somebody else. And a man named Brian Patrick Wade, who's in a show or movie, or TV movie, I think, I'm not sure exactly, called Generation Kill. So those actors might be back up. They're also going to be doing more auditions, more screen testing to find Drax the Destroyer, because this movie has already gone into pre-production, and they need to find somebody now. Alright. For Doctor Who fans, which I am one, I have some happy news and some sad news. So we're going to go with the sad news first. Just to pump you back up after the sad news. Um, Dalek designer Ray Kuzik passed away on Thursday. He was 84 years old. He died during his sleep of heart failure. He was the man responsible for the look and design of the Dalek. Now, the Dalek, as every Whovian knows, is probably the Doctor's most number one mortal enemy. It is the most iconic baddie in the entire universe. You could probably go up to somebody who's not a Whovian, who just knows a little bit about Doctor Who, and when you start talking about Doctor Who, one of the probably first or second thing out of their mouths is going to be exterminate, because people recognize that. Now, not everybody in the world is going to know that, but I mean, it's definitely iconic. It's great that he was able to design this iconic creature, alien, for the Doctor to have battles with throughout the entire half-century history of the show. In a quote that he had before he passed, obviously, when I'm asked what I was inspired by, I suppose it was really a system of logic, because I realized that you've got to have an operator to operate them. If you had anything mechanical, 10 to 1 on the take, it would go wrong. So you've got a human being in there who would be absolutely, totally reliable. I then thought, well, the operator's got to sit down. So I drew a seat, ergonomic height, 18 inches, got the operator down, and then drew around him. That's how the basic shape appeared. So he basically sat somebody in a chair and designed, drew a picture around it and kind of designed it as such. Cusick has done a lot of work on both the original Doctor Who and the new Doctor Who. He obviously has stuck around. Nicholas Briggs, who voices the modern incarnations of the Daleks, has praised Cusick's indelible impact on the landscape of Doctor Who. And that's true. Without the Daleks looking the way they look, which, by the way, he had got the idea of the kind of shape and the look and almost the movements of the way of a pepper mill, those grinder pepper things. He basically was talking with the special effects guy, took the pepper mill in his hand and kind of floated around the table, and he says they move like that. Basically, it looks like they are hovering, and that's how things were born. This guy definitely deserves all the credit in the world. And to quote one of my favorite, not only directors but podcasters, Mr. Kevin Smith, big bucket of win for Ray Cusick. He will be missed. All right, so the happy news for Doctor Who fans. As we all know, with every Doctor Who incarnation, Doctor Who himself has a limited role on the show. From the time we get a new Doctor till the time we get a new Doctor, that time is usually quite limited. In the recent series, David Tennant has the longest reign right now. Christopher Eccleston only lasted one season, and Matt Smith is now closing in on David Tennant territory as far as episodes played, and probably will surpass, depending on what happens in the next year or so. Matt Smith is the Doctor currently. Now, also, just with the Doctor, we've seen many companions come and go, and we are about to get a new one when this season returns in, I believe, around March 25th, I want to say, but don't quote me on the date right now. And her name is Jenna Louise Coleman, who's playing Clara Oswin Oswald. That's Clara Oswin Oswald. I better say it slower so that people don't think that I'm saying the name twice. And she's the new companion. So it's like, people were saying, how long is she going to be here? Seriously, are we going to invest into her like we did with Rory and Amy, and then they're gone? Especially the way they left. Basically, she's going to be around for a while. The actress has confirmed that we'll be seeing her well into 2014, and according to multiple sources, there have been quote-unquote multiple Clara Oswalds have been confirmed for the 2013 Christmas special and Series 8. So that means she is going to be here for the rest of Season 7, Series 7. She will be here for the Christmas special, and she will be here for Series 8 when that starts up again. I think that one's not starting till next January, February time, maybe even as late as March, because Matt Smith is coming over to our side of the pond, so to speak, to film the movie Catch a Monster, which is Ryan Gosling's directorial debut. Matt Smith is going to be in that, and he is still being the Doctor coming up. Now, for those of you who want to meet Coleman, she will be at the San Diego Comic-Con this year, and fans who go to these things know that it's always a wonderful time. Okay, so before I go on to what is about to be the longest part of this, I'm sure, I just want to take a minute. I'm going to play a clip that I recorded earlier this week. Now, I totally forgot when I recorded my podcast last week that the Oscars were coming up. Well, I didn't forget. I knew they were coming up, but I forgot that when I record and when you listen to it, and then the next time I record, the Oscars would have been over. I wanted to make my picks. So what I did was, on Thursday night, the 21st of February, I recorded my picks. So I'm just going to take a little break, and I'm going to play that segment for you so you can hear my picks for the Oscars. And then we're going to get into 2 award shows that happened this week. Okay, so I'm going to record this before Sunday. That's the Oscar night. I didn't do my picks on the last Warlock Wednesday. So I'm recording this, and then I'll slip it into the Warlock Wednesday hour, the Warlock Hour, and I'll put it in before I reveal the winners, since I will be recording Warlock Hour on Monday after the Oscars, and I can't prove that my picks were what they are. So, I'm going to go over the picks that I'm making, and we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up, which means we're going to start from the lesser known things and work our way up to Best Picture. So, writing, original screenplay. My pick for writing as an original screenplay, I guess I should give the nominees. The nominees for writing as original screenplay is Amour, written by Michael Haneke, Django Unchained, written by Quentin Tarantino, Flight, written by John Gattins, Moonrise Kingdom, written by Wes Anderson and Roman Coppola, and Zero Dark 30, written by Mark Boal. My pick is Zero Dark 30. Gonna move through them as quickly as possible because this will get quite long reading all the names that I might not be able to pronounce later on. So, writing an adapted screenplay. Argo, written by Chris Terrio. Beasts of the Southern Wild, screenplay by Lucy Alabar and Ben Zeitlin. Life of Pi, written by David Meggie. Lincoln, written by Tony Kushner, and Silver Linings Playbook, written by David O. Russell. My pick here is Silver Linings Playbook. Visual effects: The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, Life of Pi, Marvel's The Avengers, Prometheus, and Snow White and the Huntsman are your nominees. I think I know who's going to win. I think it's going to be The Hobbit, but my pick is going to be Marvel's The Avengers. Why? Simply because the effects for the Hulk alone, forget everything else. After 2 failed Hulk movies and having a Hulk that was just absolutely horribly done through CGI, they finally nailed it. They finally got it right. And Marvel's The Avengers is my pick on that basis alone. There was many other things about Marvel's Avengers that was definitely visually stunning. So that's my pick there. Alright, sound mixing. Argo, Les Mis, Life of Pi, Lincoln, and Skyfall. And for sound mixing, my pick is Life of Pi. Simply because there was a lot of overtures. I mean, when you got a guy trapped in the middle of the ocean with just a couple animals, music's going to be a big part of it. So that's why I'm picking Life of Pi. Sound editing, Argo, Django Unchained, Life of Pi, Skyfall, and Zero Dark 30. And you'll notice there's about 3 same ones from the sound mixing. My pick, however, this time in the sound editing is Django Unchained because of some of the sound effects used, and the way they were used was just absolutely phenomenal. Short film live action, Assad, Buzkashi Boys, Curfew, Death of a Shadow, or Dood van een Shadow, Shadow. I'm not quite sure. I'm not German or Austrian or whatever that language might be. And Henry. And my pick was actually Death of a Shadow. This was actually completely random. I haven't seen any of these films, and so that was kind of a random pick. Short film animated. The nominees: Adam and Dog, Fresh Guacamole, Head Over Heels, Maggie Simpson in The Longest Daycare, and Paperman. I've seen a couple of these, and my pick is going to be Paperman. I thought it was really well done. I enjoyed it, and it was entertaining, so that's my pick on the short film animated. Production design nominees: Anna Karenina, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, Les Mis, Life of Pi, and Lincoln. And my pick for the winner is Les Mis. Alright, best original song: Before My Time from Chasing Ice, Everybody Needs a Best Friend from Ted, Pi's Lullaby from Life of Pi, Skyfall from Skyfall, and Suddenly from Les Mis. My pick is Skyfall by Adele. I think this was an absolutely great song. I love the song. It was awesome to hear it every time the show started. As you know, I work at a movie theater, and every time, about half an hour after the movie started, and this includes all the previews and the commercials, and then the little bit of James Bond that you see before they actually get into the opening credits. About half an hour after it started, this song was always playing, and I know this because I have to do a theater check every half hour, so I got to hear this song a lot. It was absolutely amazing. That's why it's my pick. So, original score music nominees are Anna Karenina. I still can't pronounce that. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Argo, Life of Pi, Lincoln, and Skyfall. And here again, I went with Life of Pi for the same reasons I stated earlier for sound editing. I think it was sound editing. Yes, sound editing. Or no, sound mixing. Sound mixing. Makeup and hairstyling, only 3 nominees: Hitchcock, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, and Les Mis. If I was picking just hairstyling, I would pick Les Mis. There wasn't great makeup work. There was some good, don't get me wrong. There was some good makeup work. It really boils down to Hitchcock and The Hobbit. And Hitchcock, while very well done, I mean, the transformation is absolutely phenomenal for the Hitchcock character, and I thought it was really well done. However, there's so much more in The Hobbit that I'm picking The Hobbit. Alright, best foreign language film. There are a few nominees here. Amor from Austria, Kon-Tiki from Norway, No from Chile, A Royal Affair from Denmark, and from the greatest country in the world, Canada, the movie War Witch. Now, I just said that, however, I'm going against War Witch, and I'm picking Amor simply because it is also nominated for Best Picture, which it will not win, but it will win Best Foreign Language Film, I'm pretty sure. Alright, film editing. The nominees are Argo, Life of Pi, Lincoln, Silver Linings Playbook, and Zero Dark 30, and my pick is Argo. Best Documentary Short, Innocent, King's Point, Mondays at Racine, Open Heart, and Redemption. Again, never seen any of these, so complete guess, I'm picking Open Heart. Also, documentary feature, haven't seen any of these, 5 Broken Cameras, The Gatekeepers, How to Survive a Plague, The Invisible War, and Searching for Sugar Man. My random pick here is The Invisible War. Alright, Best Director. Michael Haneke for Amor, Ben Zeitlin for Beasts of the Southern Wild, Ang Lee for Life of Pi, Steven Spielberg for Lincoln, and David O. Russell for Silver Linings Playbook. My pick, David O. Russell for Silver Linings Playbook. simply because Ben Affleck was not nominated for Argo, and if he was, he would have won. However, the Oscars suck, and so I'm going to pick David O. Russell for Silver Linings Playbook. Best Costume Design: Anna Karenina, Les Mis, Lincoln, Mirror Mirror, and Snow White and the Huntsman. Anything that has Snow White and the Huntsman in these nominations will never get my vote. I'm going to pick Les Mis. 1800s, the fantastic costumes and uniforms and everything used throughout this film as it progressed through, I think, about 30 years was absolutely phenomenal, and I think Les Mis is going to win this. Lincoln kind of stayed in one little section. I think it's a 3-month period where Les Mis traveled over 30 years, and the costume changes that resulted in such give it the edge, in my opinion. Cinematography: Anna Karenina, Django Unchained, Life of Pi, Lincoln, and Skyfall, and my pick was Life of Pi. Again, mostly because while I said he was spending most of it on the ocean, that kind of cinematography is very hard to do, and I think they did a fairly good job at doing it. Alright, Best Animated Feature Film: Brave from Disney, Frankenweenie from Disney, Paranorman, not from Disney, The Pirates, Band of Misfits, not from Disney, and Wreck-It Ralph from Disney. So we have 3 Disney films up for the award, as we do many years because Disney puts out some of the best animation. I think I got that right about Frankenweenie being from Disney. It's either Frankenweenie or Paranorman. Either way, there's 3 from Disney. And it doesn't matter for either one because the winner is going to be between Brave and Wreck-It Ralph, and my pick is Wreck-It Ralph just because I liked it slightly more than Brave. I thought Wreck-It Ralph was absolutely great and wonderful. Alright, we're getting into the big ones. Before I go any further, Silver Linings Playbook was the first movie in 31 years to be nominated in all 4 major acting categories. They have an actor nominated for Best Actor, they have an actress nominated for Best Actress, they have an actor nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and then an actress named for Best Supporting Actress as well. They are nominated for Best Picture. They have 3 other nominations beside that. They got 8 in total. They won't win all the acting awards, but to be nominated and to be one of only, I think, 13 films in the histories of the Oscars, which I think we're at 80-something now. 80, just let me check quickly here, the 85th award ceremony. I mean, 85 years of the Oscars, and only the 13th time in that 85 years, and being the nerd that I am, I'm going to figure out what that might be percentage-wise. So 15%. So only 15% of the time does a film have 4 actors nominated in the major categories. And it's been 31 years since it's happened before. So that means, let's see, 31 would make that, I guess, in the 81, I think, since the last one. No, my math is off. 82? So, I mean, that's a long time to go without having an actor, an actress, a Best Supporting Actor, and a Best Supporting Actress all nominated. That is amazing. So, moving forward, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, nominees: Amy Adams for The Master, Sally Field for Lincoln, Anne Hathaway for Les Mis, Helen Hunt for The Sessions, and Jackie Weaver for Silver Linings Playbook. And my pick is Anne Hathaway for Les Mis. Phenomenal role for what she was in there for. And excuse me while I get my cat off the table. Loki! Okay. Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Alan Arkin for Argo, Robert De Niro for Silver Linings Playbook, Philip Seymour Hoffman for The Master, Tommy Lee Jones for Lincoln, and Christoph Waltz for Django Unchained. And because I enjoyed the movie so much, and because I thought his acting was so amazing, he was so eloquent in the role, it was absolutely fantastic, Christoph Waltz is my pick for Best Supporting Actor. Alright, getting close to the end. Best Actress in a Leading Role. So Best Actress nominees are Jessica Chastain for Zero Dark 30, probably got a good chance to win. Quevenshani Wallace for Beasts of the Southern Wild. She's also the youngest nominee ever for this award. She filmed the movie when she was 7. She was cast when she was 5. She's being nominated when she's 9. So, yeah. Naomi Watts for The Impossible, Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook, and Emmanuel Riva for Amour, and my pick is Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook. Best Actor nominees: Bradley Cooper for Silver Linings Playbook, Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln, Hugh Jackman for Les Mis, Joaquin Phoenix for The Master, and Denzel Washington for The Flight. And my pick here is going to be Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln, although I think there's a good chance that Bradley Cooper could pull out the upset. But my pick is Daniel Day-Lewis. And the number one category where most of the people's attention is going to be is Best Picture. And the nominees are Amour, Argo, Beasts of the Southern Wild, Django Unchained, Les Mis, Life of Pi, Lincoln, Silver Linings Playbook, and Zero Dark 30. And my pick for Best Picture of the 2013 Oscars is Argo. I'm picking Argo simply on the basis that the bastards didn't nominate Ben Affleck for Best Director, so they better give him Best Picture. That's what I got to say about that. So those are my picks. As soon as I get to this segment on the Warlock Hour, I will slip this in there, and you will hear my picks before I reveal the winners. So both the picks and the winners are going to be back-to-back. So stay tuned next. The winners are coming up. Okay, so that was my picks. Now, the winners are coming up. However, I do want to do the Razzies first. The Razzies were also The Razzies were also presented this week, and they handle the worst of the year. Now, I didn't do predictions on the Razzies. All I did when the nominations were announced a few weeks ago was say that I want Twilight to kind of dominate the Razzies. So, let's take a look at this year's Razzie winners. Worst Screenplay goes to... hang on. There we go. Worst Screenplay goes to That's My Boy, written by David Casp. That's My Boy was the movie starring Andy Samberg and Adam Sandler. And, it was quite interesting. Adam Sandler was nominated for a few things in the Raspberries this year, the Razzies Awards. This is one of the wins. Worst Screenplay of 2012 goes to That's My Boy. Alright, Worst Screen Couple goes to The Twilight Couple of Mackenzie Foy, which was Little Renesmee, and Taylor Lautner, who played the little werewolf boy. They won Worst Screen Couple of 2012. And Twilight was nominated twice in that category because the Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson were also in the running for Screen Worst Couple. And the Worst Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel of 2012 was Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. So that's 2 awards for the Twilight franchise that they've won for the worst. Let's see, Worst Director. Ooh, look at this. Bill Condon for Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. That's 3 worst awards for the ever hateable Twilight saga. And next, Worst Screen Ensemble. Can you take a guess? That's right, the entire cast of Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2. So, as we can see, that's 4 out of 5 awards so far have gone to Twilight. So let's see if they can continue this trend. Worst Actress goes to... Worst Supporting Actress. We're not at Worst Actress yet. Worst Supporting Actress goes to, unfortunately, not the Twilight Saga, but Rihanna for the movie Battleship. Now, I didn't think she did that poor of a job, but definitely probably deserved to be in this category. Whether she should have won the Worst Supporting Actress award or not, but she did. So she was the worst supporting actress of 2012. And that brings us to the worst supporting actor of 2012. And we are back with the Twilight Saga. So number 5 award goes to Taylor Lautner, who now has 2 for this year's Razzies. He won worst supporting actor this year. So now we're going to get into the worst actress. And that, Kristen Stewart. Not only did she win it for Twilight Saga, she won it for Snow White and the Huntsman. So we'll only count that as one, but that's almost a double win because she got it bad. She was the worst in 2 different movies. That is awesome, in my opinion, because I cannot stand her. She's a horrible actress. She shows no emotions. In fact, I call her the emotionless one. Unfortunately, the Razzie did not go to a Twilight member for worst actor. The worst actor was Adam Sandler in That's My Boy. So that one wins 2 awards. And to round it out, the worst movie of 2012, Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2. So out of 9 awards, Twilight grabs an impressive 7 Razzies. That's right, Twilight dominates the worst of 2012. And that, my friends, is why I sound very happy right now. Because I hate Twilight. I think it's horrible. I think it promotes horribleness to everybody that watches it. You've got just crap coming out of everywhere on there, and the fact it won 7 worst awards makes me very happy. So congratulations, Twilight, you are the worst film ever. Alright, so let's go to the Oscars. As you just heard, I made my picks, and I didn't do so well. I believe there's 24 awards, and I got 9 right. But that's okay. I've never been a big fan of the Oscars recently. In the last probably 10 years, this week's Oscars, like this year's Oscars even, was the first time I've watched the Oscars in over 10 years. I've been pissed off, and I still find it's very political. But doing this show, I feel that I should be watching some of these shows to kind of pay attention and kind of see what's going on. And we're going to get into something that I saw on that show a little later. But let's get right to the awards. Alright, so the winner for the short film live action was Curfew by Sean Christensen. The winner for the short film animated was Paperman by John Cars. That was such a fantastic animated short film. I was really happy with that win. I did get that one right. Short subject documentary, winner Innocent by Sean Fine and Andrea Nee Fine. The visual effects was awarded to Life of Pi. Now, this one here I probably could have got right. I picked the Avengers because, as I stated, I loved the way they did the Hulk. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I thought even the Hobbit probably could have won logically, but my heart had to go with the Marvel's Avengers because it was the best rendition of the Hulk, and so I got that one wrong. Sound editing, Zero Dark 30 and Skyfall actually tied for this award. I haven't seen a tie in the Oscars in a long time, so that was weird when that happened. But Skyfall and Zero Dark 30 won a tie for sound editing. Sound mixing went to Les Miserables, or Les Mis, as I will call it from here on out. Original song, here's another one I got right, and was kind of obvious when you look at the nominees that were available for music in the original song. Adele wins for Skyfall, from Skyfall. Great song, I love it, as I said. On Thursday, when I recorded my picks, it was just so fantastic to go into that theater and hear that song almost every time I worked. Music original score went to Life of Pi. Makeup and hairstyling, there was only 3 nominees. This was the shortest category. I believe I picked The Hobbit, but Les Mis won, I guess, more based on the hairstyling, because the makeup wasn't as predominant. I guess The Hobbit. They might do the same thing like they did with the Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit trilogy that's being made. That I hate the fact that they're doing a trilogy. Most of the awards will come with the last one, and that's the way it'll probably work because of this. Documentary feature. The winner was Searching for Sugar Man. Like, that was one of my guesses. I believe that I picked The Invisible War just because it kind of sounded kind of cool, but Searching for Sugar Man is the winner. Film editing goes to Argo. Great win for them. Costume design went to Anna Karenina. I picked Les Mis because, well, I thought Les Mis definitely had great costumes. Cinematography went to Life of Pi. Production design went to Lincoln. The best animated feature film, I had it broken down to basically Wreck-It Ralph versus Brave. I chose Wreck-It Ralph. Guess who won? Brave. So, as I said, 3 Disney pictures were up for this award, and a Disney picture won. It was Disney Pixar as opposed to regular Disney winning, and the Tim Burton movie Frankenweenie did not win. But yeah, 3 Disney picks were nominated, and Brave won. And as I did say that it would be close, and I'm sure it was, but unfortunately I picked Wreck-It Ralph, so that was another wrong one. Foreign language film, this one was easy, with the Amour being nominated for Best Picture. It was kind of easy to pick it as the best foreign language film, and yes, it won. Best original screenplay went to Django Unchained. Best adapted screenplay went to Argo. I picked, unfortunately, Silver Linings Playbook. Best actress in a supporting role, Anne Hathaway. I nailed it. Actually, the next 5 awards, I was right in all of them. Anne Hathaway wins the best supporting role for Les Mis. The best supporting actor went to Christoph Waltz for Django Unchained. The best actress went to Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook. The best actor went to Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln. And to round out the Oscars, the top 2 awards... Actually, sorry, I forgot. I got the directing wrong. I picked Silver Linings Playbook, and the director that won was Ang Lee for Life of Pi. However, as I said, the one director that wasn't nominated, that should have been nominated, basically had a kick your ass kind of attitude, really, when you think about it, because he won Best Picture. Ben Affleck should have won Best Director because Argo was the best movie of the year, and it won the Oscar to prove that it was the best movie of the year. So, congratulations to Argo for dominating the Best Picture. It should have won the directing. Unfortunately for Silver Linings Playbook, which had so many nominations, it was just such a great year. It was hard to beat out some of the other ones that were nominated. Like, I would love to see Bradley Cooper win for Silver Linings Playbook, but Daniel Day-Lewis obviously was going to win for Lincoln. I am so happy Jennifer Lawrence won for Silver Linings Playbook, though. Definitely was amazing in it. And then the 2 supporting actors, Robert De Niro for the actor and Jackie Weaver for actress. Again, they were in tough. They were in tough competition. This was a big year for movies, a big year for a lot of actors and actresses that performed very well. So I did okay. 9 out of 24. It's not even half. But when you consider over half these awards I was guessing at, like, you know, I think some of these awards need to be trimmed down and not shown on the main show. You know, they give out the Science and Technical Awards separately. Some of these ones, like documentaries, and maybe not the documentary itself, but maybe the short films should be given out then. I don't know, but that's just me. Like I said, this is the first time I've watched the Oscars in almost 10 years. Now, as I was saying earlier, there's something I wanted to talk about, and it was kind of... they had Daniel Radcliffe having to stand next to the emotionless one, Kristen Stewart, to give away an award, and she looked like she didn't want to be there. She came out limping. I don't know if there was something wrong with her. God willing there is. But Daniel Radcliffe did not seem like he wanted to be standing next to her. I can't blame him. I feel so sorry that he had to stand next to her. He's a polite man, though, and he would never say anything against it. And I'm just saying I felt sorry for him having to stand there. It just so I mean, they could have found somebody else to give the award away. Maybe she wanted to do this because she just won a bunch of Razzie awards with her performances this past year, and her movies suck, and she's a terrible actress. And one comment that I got on my Facebook page was that she's she's like a dementor, and I even mentioned, too bad there wasn't a spell that he could cast that would erase her from existence, because then we wouldn't have to see her anymore. But in the end, she still won the worst actress this year, and that is awesome. The other thing I wanted to mention about the Oscars is when Jennifer Lawrence went up to get her award. Her dress was kind of big, and that was unfortunate because as she went up the stairs, she kind of tripped, and she was so nervous. You could tell, especially when she gave her speech. However, out of everybody there, and there was people closer to her, the one man that actually got up to try and help her was Wolverine. Hugh Jackman was... What a gentleman that man is. He got up and he tried to help her, and he was the only one that even moved out of his seat, and there's people standing there, sitting there laughing. I mean, yeah, it's kind of humorous, but it's also like a little embarrassing. She's fantastic. I cannot wait to see her in the next Hunger Games movie. I cannot wait to see her in the next X-Men movie. I think this woman is definitely going to be an actress to be reckoned with going in the future. Like, she can act serious, she can act comic. She's now Best Actress award winner. So the fact that nobody got up but Hugh Jackman, I applaud you, Hugh Jackman. I applaud you so much. Okay, so that's the awards. That's it for entertainment news as far as movies and TV is concerned for this week. I do have some other entertainment news. Last week I forgot to mention that THQ, a gaming company that makes video games, for those of you who don't know, is closing. They are done. They filed a Chapter 11 before, which means they were going into bankruptcy, but they were going to try and still try and operate. Basically, it was so that other companies that they owed money to couldn't make claims against them for a little bit. However, now they must close. A lot of their titles are being sold off to other companies. Futures of some of them doesn't know where they're going to be. They make games like the WWE games, Saints Row, what other one? Darksiders, just so many games, but there's some stuff that's already been sold off. Volition and Saints Row IP was bought by Koch Media. The company also got hold of Metro Last Light. Relic and Company of Heroes 2 went to Sega. Ubisoft got the whole of THQ Montreal and the game South Park The Stick of Truth. Crytek snatched up Homefront 2 and Evolve, and found home with Take-Two. So a lot of their titles have found homes. That being said, at the time this was printed, there was no takers for the WWE games. However, since then, WWE.com released on their website on the 20th, which would have been last Wednesday, that they have found a new promoter for their games, and it's 2K Sports. So 2K and WWE announced that they are going into a multi-year agreement granting 2K the exclusive worldwide rights to publish the critically acclaimed WWE video game franchise across all major platforms and distribution channels. The article says, the series, which will continue to be developed by Yuke's in Japan, will combine the studio's signature gameplay with 2K's commitment to authenticity in WWE 14, the latest iteration of the popular long-range series. With the addition of the WWE franchise, 2K will continue a highly successful 15-year tradition established by past WWE titles. It says that financial terms are not disclosed. For those of you who don't know 2K, they mostly do NBA and MLB 2K franchises. They do not have the rights to the NFL. That is strictly with EA and the Madden franchise. But WWE 14 will be released by 2K Studios, and that is good news for the WWE, who definitely, as soon as they probably heard that THQ was closing, was out looking for a new game carrier, distributor. There we go. They were looking for a new distributor. All right, so that's that. Announced this past week, PlayStation 4 is coming out holiday 2013. I'm assuming they mean holiday in the States around being November, December, coming out around Thanksgiving in the States, not in Canada, as Canada's Thanksgiving is October. Thanksgiving in the States in November. Between November and Christmas, I have a feeling the PlayStation 4 will get its released. They haven't shown us the console. They haven't showed us what the cost will be. I'm guessing in the $600+ range. Personally, I'm not buying it. It's not backwards compatible. It is mostly all done through DLCs and gaming through downloading. They have a new controller with a touchpad on it to kind of move it like a mouse, like on a laptop. It's called the DualShock 4. There's a few games coming out when it comes out, but the one game that I wanted to mention is Diablo 3. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big Blizzard fan, mostly World of Warcraft. I do like seeing some of the StarCraft games. I'm not a big StarCraft fan. Diablo 3 is the one game that I am playing. As far as the Diablo series is concerned, I haven't played since Diablo 1, but Diablo 3 is really good. I haven't played it much recently, but I still play it. But Diablo 3 is already on the PC, so most people probably won't buy it. But for those who don't really like PC gaming and want to play it on their PlayStation, it's not only going to be on the PlayStation 4, but it is also going to be on the PlayStation 3. They're going to release it on both platforms, and that is pretty amazing. It's something they wanted to do when they released Diablo 3, but they just couldn't get it done. Now they can. So Diablo 3 coming to PlayStation 3 and 4. Now, a couple of board games, tabletop games, if you will, to announce. Firefly, a game show slash movie, which was called Serenity, is making a tabletop game. It's official. There's now a reason to be a proud brown coat. Margaret Weis Productions Limited has announced that they're going to partner with 20th Century Fox and produce and publish a new tabletop role-playing game based on the TV series Firefly. So you can kind of make your own adventures and misbehave all you want. So that is absolutely amazing. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for. Okay, the Serenity tabletop RPG was extremely successful with fans and garnered a few tabletop awards. This is the created tabletop RPG that was based solely on the movie Serenity. With this new license from Fox, the fine people at Margaret Weis Productions can now expand on what they built with the original Serenity tabletop RPG. In the press release, they said they are looking to release products this spring, both in print and digital formats. We will also most likely receive an update of the Cortex system, which was the basis for the Serenity tabletop RPG. This project is a dream come true. I have been such a long time fan of Firefly. I look forward to working with my crew to take us all back into the black. So, for those of you who are RPG fans, Firefly fans, and so on, this is definitely good news. I am looking forward to it. I hope you are. And I'm going to hopefully get that game. Speaking of another game, this is a board game, and it's The Walking Dead. Walking Dead board game. That is right. So basically, it's going to be based mostly on Season 1. For those of you who watch the show, you basically grab whatever you can find. Basically, you're going to have access to Rick's shotgun or Daryl's iconic crossbow. You're going to go out and to the department stores. You're going to encounter groups. You're going to run to the old folks' home, hopefully not get blown up by the CDC, and so on. However, the best part about the game is when you die, the game's not over. That's right. it is a zombie game. So if you die, no matter which character you decide to pick or play, when you die, you get to come back as a zombie and try to lay traps and kill the humans that are still alive. So it's like an ongoing game. You're not eliminated. You just become a zombie. So for those of you who like to be zombies, you might want to try and die early to go around killing all the other people. It just sounds so fantastic. It's probably going to be in the $30 to $40 range, but you know what? I'm definitely on board. I think that's so interesting and intriguing. It's just fantastic. Okay, going to be wrapping things up here shortly, so that means it is time for sports. And in the sports world, this week I am just going to focus on hockey. There's a few other things that I might want to mention, but I'm going to leave it and see if anything more develops next week. But in hockey, we're going to do what we normally do and give you the rundown of the standings for the Eastern and Western Conference, top 8 teams really only. So in the Eastern Conference, number 1, Montreal, number 2, Pittsburgh. Let me just hang on a second. I better double check that. Okay. Yes, number 1, Montreal, number 2, Pittsburgh, number 3, Carolina, again with those weak division that they're in. They're in third place, even though they only have 19 points, where the fourth place teams has 26, and the fifth and the sixth and the seventh all have 24. So, I mean, it's just the way the divisions are, and they've already talked about breaking up the divisions the way they are. There's going to be 4 conferences, or at least that's the proposition. There's going to be 4 conferences, and top 4 teams in each conference will go, and you'll kind of like 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 in each conference, and then conference 1 and 2, as it's known right now, will play the winner of 1 versus 2 versus 3 versus 4, or 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. They'll play to win the conference, and that'll happen in each conference. Conference 1 and 2 will then play for one semifinal. Conference 3 and 4 will play for the other semifinal, and then the final will be whoever wins out of the 2 semifinals. So it's kind of up in the air as how it's going to go, but it is changing. There'll be no more division winners. It'll be conference winners, so you could have a weak conference. But judging from what I have seen of the proposed conferences, we won't have a team that really is not doing so well in the playoffs ahead of a team that probably deserves it more. Alright, so that being said, to round out the Eastern Conference, Ottawa sits 4th, Boston 5th, New Jersey 6th, Toronto 7th, and Tampa Bay 8th. The gap between 7th and 8th right now is 5 points, so Toronto is sitting comfortably in a playoff spot at the moment. Now here's the kicker. Most teams in the Eastern Conference have played 17 to 20 games. 17 being the lowest and 20 being the highest, except for the Boston Bruins. They've only played 15 games. They are the actual lowest amount of games played in the league. So Boston sitting in 5th place with only with 5 less games than some people, and 4 less than like the Montreal Canadiens, who are number 1, definitely have things in their pocket as long as they keep playing the way they are. Though once those 5 games are caught up, they could be well ahead into first place. The only team that they might be behind are the almost unbeatable Chicago Blackhawks. And I say almost unbeatable because they are a team that has gotten a point in every single game they've played so far. That's 18. They're playing tonight. It is currently 2-2, and guess what? They already have a point. They're going into overtime, which means they've already scored another point. So that's 19 straight games of the point. Worst case scenario, they're going to have 15 wins, 0 losses, and 4 overtime losses. Best case scenario, they're going to have 16 wins, 0 losses, and 4 overtime losses. So needless to say, in the Western Conference, the Chicago Blackhawks are number 1. Number 2, Anaheim. Number 3, Vancouver. Number 4, Nashville. Number 5, St. Louis. Number 6, Detroit. Number 7, Dallas. And number 8, San Jose. San Jose does have to watch its back quite closely, with Phoenix at 19, LA and Minnesota at 18, and Calgary and Edmonton each at 17. And Edmonton could jump up to 19 points if they win that overtime game against the Chicago Blackhawks. All right, so that's your standings for the week. And we're going to take a look at your 3 stars for the past week. And your first star is Jakub Voracek, who scored 11 points, 4 goals, 7 assists. And the Flyers won 3 of their 4 games this past week. He had his first ever 4-point game with 4 assists in his first game of the week. And then he also had his first hat trick of the week, which actually pushed them to win against Pittsburgh, 6-5 victory. So, had a big week this week for Jakub Voracek. Second star, Steven Stamkos, a guy I like very much. He's a very good hockey player, very talented hockey player. He had 8 points this week, 4 goals and 4 assists. And the third star this week was Ben Bishop of the Ottawa Senators. The Ottawa Senators lost their goalie Craig Anderson to an injury. He's going to be back this year. It's not a permanent injury. It's not a long-term injury. It's a day-to-day type thing. He is on IR, but he's eligible to come back soon. So it just depends on how long it takes for him to come back. However, Ben Bishop went 3-0 this week with a 2.03 goals against average, and basically he beat the New Jersey Devils, the New York Rangers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs all this week. So he gets the third star. After saying that, let's go to the stats. Your points leader changed. It is no longer Thomas Vanek. It is now Steven Stamkos. Stamkos has 29 points. And that's because he took over the goal lead with John Tavares, both of them with 13 goals. Your assist leader is Martin St. Louis with 20 assists. And then your plus-minus leader is François Beauchemin, and he's a plus 15. Your goalies, Craig Anderson, as I said, is injured, but he still holds your goals against average at 1.49. He also holds the save percentage at 9.52, 95% for those of you wondering why I said 9.52. It's just the way it's written. Carey Price and Marc-Andre Fleury, both with 10 wins, lead in that category, and the shutouts are tied between Pekka Rinne of the Nashville Predators and Mike Smith of the Phoenix Coyotes. So that's your stats this week. That wraps up another week of the Warlock Hour with Razor. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow to Teen Talk with Chelsea and listen to more teen issues if that's your bag. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes and ehnotherpodcast.com. And come back next week. And I hope you enjoyed this show. Hope you enjoy all the future shows. And even if you want, go back and listen to the past shows. A little bit different as, things change week to week. But hey, some people like going back and listening to the old shows. Have a good night, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in your day. I'm out. Thanks for listening to Ehnother Podcast from ehnotherpodcast.com. Don't forget to go on iTunes and or download right from ehnotherpodcast.com. That's EHNOTHER podcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Ehnother Podcast. Be sure to check back for tomorrow's show only on Ehnother Podcast, your Canadian podcast network. ehnotherpodcast.com. Not a sponsor.